1. Been working at a brew pub for 6 months before COVID hit. When we opened back up, summer 2020, we decided to do a tip pool amongst the front of house staff, divided by hours worked. We could only serve patio, no indoor dining, and sun-shade sections are weird depending on the weather, etc. Worked great for a bit, but the manager was also in on it, while not taking nearly as many tables as the rest of the servers, and the obvious discrepancy in the day sales versus night sales. I'm a night guy, and obviously the manager and girlfriend get all the day shifts. Day sales average $1,500, and night does $3,000 to $6,000. Also, the manager is drinking on the job while staying signed in, so sharing in the tips became very habitual and annoying. So we mentioned it several times, but we agreed to it, so begrudgingly kept going. Lockdown again. We come back January 2021, have a staff meeting before, and bring up these issues. Staying signed in while doing SFA, splitting day and night sales, and more dirty laundry shit. Everyone but boss and girlfriend want these changes, but he won't budge. So me and work wife go to the VP. There's 30 in the company and air our grievances. No deal, GM stays in tip pool and it's company policy. Fuck. We explain the drinks and laziness, but nothing. Whatever, so recently I'm fed up. Drinking is increased, nothing gets done. We don't have cocktails. Every other store does. Schedule comes our day before it's a gong show. I should mention my father passed, so been adulting like a motherfucker. He was 550 kilometers away. I've been in charge of the estate, and have to deal with such BS in my professional life as well as my personal life. I've seriously had enough. One day a staff member walked out because the GM was being petty and giving him the silent treatment. So down one start a busy night, then gave work wife the silent treatment and she walked out. I almost did too, but I was in shock. I ended up closing that night, as GM and girlfriend drinking at 10. I picked up work wife in my sections. I was furious. I emailed the VP that night telling him that 2 people walked out and I've got 1 foot out the door, and why they did, and why I'm going too. Work wife lawyered up, and one day an independent HR company was brought in and interviewed all the staff. I told them everything. It felt good. Like someone to vent to. Like this, very cathartic. And there's a fire up my GM's ass. Some other GM has been in our store all week. I've had to sign drug and alcohol policies, and no one is allowed to drink at our store anymore. My schedule will come out early, Thursday. They've bought some booze for cocktails, no training or specs yet, and several key things like alarm codes and floor plans and side duties. So the company has had to hire an HR company to look at my boss's failures, and bring in another GM to shadow him. Did I mention we don't split tips anymore? I made $300 tonight. Don't fuck with my friends or work wife, and certainly don't fuck with my money. Thanks for listening, fam. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself or others. It's what my dad would have wanted. 2. To the table I had today. You are classless, and your child was embarrassed. I had a table today that was a couple, and the husband was introducing his baby mama to his family. He was military, and I guess he's been busy on his time away. The couple also had a brand new baby that they were showing off. Nice folks. There were the dude's mom, sister, and aunt. They ordered a big chicken nacho to start, which I promptly put in. Mind you, I was captain on a party of 25 and finishing them up, and the host told them they may have a few minute wait at the table. They were cool. At first. Once the food came out, the complaints started. I checked on them multiple times in passing, and nobody asked for anything. They, of fucking course, asked for water for the table, and also each had a beer or mocktail. Nobody asked for refills or to order another. They didn't have a single auto-refill drink, but okay. Maybe I wasn't super attentive. Anyway, the mom goes to the front, and my manager deals with her, but she pulls me aside to say that she was watching me and that she knows I did my best with them, even if the food was kinda late behind our party of 25 regulars. She's gonna comp 4 cheesecake slices, and I shouldn't worry about them. I go and drop the discounted check, and I heard the bitch aunt say,
I'm gonna go order cheesecake for us all and get the whole bill taken care of.
The sister and mom both cringe, visibly, and make eye contact with me. I drop the free $50 of cheesecake and bring the fussy toddler a free milk just to show I care. The aunt stares at the check and then violently snatched it. I watched the new baby mama die internally. I can only imagine she's been dealing with this fucking witch for hours or days and is rapidly approaching her limit. She's dressed like a crunchy hippie mom and is super sweet whenever I come back to the table. She isn't a problem, and I imagine she's served before. You'll see why. Not 5 minutes after the $40 check is dropped, my manager finds me and we go to a pausia to look at ring times and such. She wants to make sure I did my best before she sticks up for me. Everything checks out and she decides it isn't worth the trouble and comps the entire bill. They seem satisfied and leave. Finally. On the way out, they called me slow and shiftless and say I should work somewhere else. I laugh in response because fuck them and wish them a lovely evening. I knew I wasn't going to get tipped and just start to bust the table once they're out of view. I found a 20 by where the sister was sitting and a crisp 50 in the middle of the table. I'm betting the dude left that. As I finish up, I see the baby mom is speaking to my manager who gestures toward me and I walk over. She smashes a crumbled 100 into my hand and whispers, "I'm so sorry, I know you did your best with them." I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I almost cried. I simply stood and said thanks so much, and that I hope to see her and her baby again. She thanked me and walked off. I'm a career bartender and server. I paid real money to get a degree in hospitality, and I take pride in my work. Fuck you to every single person who decides to fuck that up just because they can. I imagine the aunt thinks she did something by scoring free food for everyone, but all she did was alienate her nephew and sister further. 3. Maybe I'm already becoming burnt out of this industry, because I'm finding it more and more difficult to be kind to unreasonable, entitled, and rude customers. I live in a college town, and it was move-in weekend for students, so our town's population increased by about 40,000 people, not counting the parents that were in town for their kids. We were more slammed than we'd been in over a year due to COVID, and had already done record sales by 7 p.m. We had over an hour to wait for entrees, and about 30 minutes for appetizers, which was communicated to our customers by our host. Servers were also making sure customers knew this before getting their order. All my servers had already been flipping tables non-stop for at least 6 hours, and we were all extremely tired. By the time I had already been there 8 hours, already staying past my original shift, I ended up working 11 hours total, and was exhausted after serving lunch and dinner rushes. Family of 5 comes in, is informed of the food wait, and gets seated. Later, one of the servers comes to me telling me that they are upset about the food wait, and they had cancelled an appetizer that they had put in because it was taking too long and they didn't want it anymore. However, the salad had already been made by the kitchen, and so we decided to bring it out to the table anyway to try and make them happy, and because they were angry about the wait, and being incredibly rude to my server, snapping at her and demanding things from her so much that the other tables nearby mentioned it to her, and later me in passing when the family asked for a manager. So literally, as I'm carrying this family's food to their table, the father is getting up to come and talk to me. After setting down the food, I go over to him, and he tells me he'll talk to me later since they're eating. The father then comes up to me, telling me that it's unacceptable for the food to have taken that long, and they never would have eaten at my work if they thought that it was going to take that long. I informed them of the situation with the college students and how we have been busy all day, and how my host had in fact been informing people that we had over an hour food wait. I had already confirmed with the host that they had been told the wait, and I had also confirmed with the server that she had put their food in right away. The ticket time in our point of sale said that their food came out in less than an hour, despite the father claiming that it had been an hour and a half. So at this point, I knew this dad just wanted to get free food for his family, and so I informed him that we had given the salad to him complimentary for the inconvenience. He said, "No, that's not enough, I want more taken off. I'm a new manager, so I'm not very good with confrontation." And so I just told him I was going to go talk to the other manager on shift. This manager had been in the industry for 20 years, is much more experienced than me, and knew that we just need to make this guy happy and get him out of here, so we decided to take the drinks off his tab, totaling about $10 off a $130 bill, totaling about $115 after taking off the salad. He tipped the server $2. I felt awful because I feel like there was more I could have done just to make these people happy, but we all came to the conclusion tonight that there's just some people that you cannot make happy. They wanted an excuse to get free food and they got it. I hope $20 was worth making an ass out of yourself to the waitstaff and embarrassing your family in front of the other patrons. He told me,
"My daughter is going to school here in town, so I'm going to be coming back here a lot, and this is unacceptable."
Okay. If it's so bad, please don't come back. 4. Today was odd, to say the least. I've only been serving for around 1 month, but I have never experienced such a fluctuation of completely rude and nice customers before, all in one shift. For some context, I currently work at Olive Garden, and for the most part I feel like I get a lot of nice and indifferent customers. I typically only have around 1 rude customer a week. But oh boy, today was different. Today I had to deal with multiple customers on both sides of the spectrum. During the beginning of my shift, I had around 4 nice families. They did the typical thanking for the great service, tipping well, etc. From the 4th family on, it all went downhill. The first rude family had the audacity to tell me that I must be a new server because I was stuttering a little bit during my greeting. I have had a stuttering problem ever since I was little. And their food coming out late. Like, no shit, your food came out late, it's a packed Sunday, and I have other tables to refill soups, salads, breadsticks, etc. Literally, the next table after them had these 2 old couples who lacked basic human kindness. They interrupted me during my greeting and just said, "Chicken parm, eggplant parm, never ending for both, salads for all, and waters." They did this while not looking at me at all and shoving their menus into my face. I just wrote down their order and left without saying a single word after they cut me off. And of course, the table after that was an old couple who insisted I bring out their food as fast as possible, so they can go home to watch football games. I've dealt with people like this in the past and literally just give them the exact same treatment as I do to all my guests. Like, I'm not going to screw up my table priority routine in my head. That's unfair to the other guests, and I just view it as being selfish. If you really need to be somewhere in a time crunch, why do you go to a packed restaurant? I'm getting heated just thinking about this. So, back to my story. The last rude table were these 2 women and a child. They were normal guests at first, but their kid kept crying non-stop. I personally don't mind at all because for some reason a kid crying doesn't annoy me. But they must have been pretty mad about it. I wasn't there when this happened, but apparently when I was in the kitchen making soups and stuff, they were being very abusive to their kid. The hostess described it as hitting their kid really hard multiple times and yelling at him in his face. They must have been embarrassed because after this happened they got up and left. But called the restaurant and asked for the hostess to make their entire meal to go and deliver their food to the car outside. They still tipped me pretty decently, but that whole situation was just strange. Thankfully, after these 4 tables, I had 2 extremely nice families. I was having a genuine fun conversation with them and they both tipped really well. Overall, I had a good day. But the change from being completely pissed off to caught off guard and then to being happy in a couple of hours isn't something I've experienced to this extreme in the industry before. 5. So this happened to me a few years ago. I work at a pub in Australia, and one of the big pub foods over here are chicken schnitzels and chicken parmigiana. Pretty standard pub food, and the pub I work at is known to have one of the better schnitzels in town. Anyway, one day the head chef decided to create a schnitzel challenge, where it was topped with bacon, cheese, and Carolina Reaper sauce. Our head chef loves chili. And if you could eat the whole thing, your name would go up on the board. Quite a few people tried it. Many failed, a few passed, but one that sticks out was a table of 10 on a Friday night. I knew 2 of the people of this table, so it was nice to have them in, and they were lovely customers. When they were ordering, the guy who I knew, his brother decided he wanted to try the schnitzel challenge. Very well then. Put their orders in, and because it was a busy Friday night, it took about 30 to 40 minutes to get their food out. In this time, the guy trying the challenge drank about 3 pints of Guinness, and ordered another one when his food arrived. Well, about 20 minutes later, he's about a third of the way through his dinner, and is doing laps around the table, red in the face, sweating his head off. Honestly, really funny. I went outside to collect some glasses, and as I was walking back in, another guy off the table was walking out and said to me,
"Oh, it's really bad in there."
A bit confused, I walked in, and on the carpet at the end of their table was the biggest puddle of vomit I had ever seen in my life. This thing was brutal. I swear it was like a meter across and filled with chicken chips, fries, and black Guinness. Luckily, this was towards the end of the night, as this happened about an hour after he ordered it, as he was slowly picking away, hoping to finish it. Most people had left, and after he chundered, a good proportion of the rest of the customers left as well. I don't really blame them. Cut to me and another waitress cleaning up this bloke's vomit, literally picking it up with her hands, we had gloves on, and putting it in a bag because of all the chunks. I nearly vomited myself and actually tapped out halfway through cleaning, because I would have lost it. My coworker, the absolute saint she was, cleaned up the rest by herself, and I returned to help scrub the carpet at the end. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates, episode 153. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like and subscribe. Alright, let's see, before we go on, I have at least one birthday shout out to do, let me check. Birthdays. Yes, we've actually got 2 birthday shout outs today, the rest are later in the month, okay. Alright, first one goes to, we'll do them in order I received them. First one goes to Aaliyah Pike. They will be, well, I don't know how old they are, but their birthday is today. I hope you have a very happy birthday, Aaliyah. That one comes from Carla. Okay, and the other one goes to Brad. Okay, well, Brad is also no age. Okay, fair enough. Right, so a very happy birthday to you both. I hope you both have delightful days doing whatever it is that you would usually do on your birthday. Or maybe not. Maybe you want to be adventurous and try something different. Also good. I'm now going to sing happy birthday to both of you. But only once. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aaliyah. Dear Brad. Happy birthday to you. I don't know what we're going to do if we ever have 3 people. Alright, a slight update. As you can hear the echo. Oh! Hear that? Yep. A lot of people say you can't hear it, but my god is it obvious to me. Worse than ever. It was there before, but not as bad, so it was like, okay, I'll need to do something about that. But now I really need to do something about it. So what I did is yesterday when I was done working, I went to the website I'd been looking at for a while called Mafia Acoustic Panels. Their logo is We Kill Sound, apparently. Well, as long as you make good on the order, I don't care what you kill. So I've ordered 8 panels from them, 4 black, 4 purple, obviously, and that should be enough to get me started. Now, I'd actually worked out that I'm probably going to need about 16 to 20 to do everything I need to do in this room. That might be overkill. So we'll start with 8, and it comes up £155, including delivery for each pack of 4. And we'll see what they do. The way I've got it judged right now, I'll put 3 on one wall, 1 there, 1 there. Well, no, 3 on that wall. I'll put 2 there. And I'll see later about something on the ceiling. As long as if it's something on the walls to break things up. The thing is, I don't have pictures or prints or anything on the walls. So now that the curtains are gone, there's really nothing breaking up the sound. So that's what I'll be, and I'll maybe get some tapestries as well when I find something I like the look of. Well, as long as it looks nice and does the job. I don't want it to do the job and look tacky. Part of the reason why I haven't gone for those, you'll have seen them on various YouTubers' channels, gamers, and various other people that record audio and such. Those foam squares, which they do work, but they look really, really tacky. and they're a nightmare to mount. I mean, you can put them directly on your wall, then you're going to damage your walls. Then you can also mount them on a backing board, which, fair enough, but you're going to the trouble of doing that when, if you just bought the panels that look nicer. So essentially things I'm ordering are like a picture frame, and they'll hang on the walls and will eventually from the ceiling to help break up the sound. And that should fix the problem for the most part. There's probably a few other things I can do as well. Maybe, well, I've already got a carpet in here, so there's not much else I can do with that. Maybe bean bags or something. Anything to absorb sound, really. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling for now and head off. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.